What's up guys, Faye here again. Welcome back to Always Sometimes Monsters. Last episode, we made our character, somehow lost her boyfriend, moved to a new town, found out that we were a whole month late on our rent, and did some work at a club. This time, we are gonna go get that dog some food, then go help our neighbor out. They have pre-wrapped sausages, but they don't have pre-wrapped bacon. Okay. Did you find everything you were looking for? I did now. Alright, doggy. Woof, woof, woof. Hey there, little doggy. How are you doing, girl? I brought you some food. Woo! Woo! Grr. That a girl, just come a bit closer now. Give the dog some food. Munch, munch, munch. That's a happy doge now. Oh no. Looks like that dog dropped something. It looks like the locket the dog was wearing fell off. You picked up the dog's locket. Let's see what was in that. Okay. I know there's a lost dog thing here somewhere. A raccoon! Nope. Nobody we can call yet. I'm sure we'll come across that number soon. This is our apartment, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, neighbor. Is this her apartment? I wonder if Mrs. Twilliger still needs my help cleaning her apartment. I hope I'm not too late to lend a hand. Then again, Darka did mention I could work coat check tonight and I could use the money. We're gonna help our neighbor. Who could that be? Hello? Who's there? It's me, Faye. Oh, come right in. Hey, Mrs. Twilliger, I'm here to help clean up. Oh, you're a little late for that, Faye. It's alright though, I managed to get it all done myself. Still, I'm very glad you came, you're such a good kid. Well, then I guess you don't need me then. I was just about to sit down to dinner. Would you care to join me? I was thinking of going to work coat check down at the club. I am pretty hungry though. What's for dinner? So what's for dinner? It's a fresh lamb stew. You're going to love it. Come and have a seat. We wouldn't want it getting cold. Sounds great. You won't believe how hungry I am. Well, there's plenty to eat, so don't worry about it if you want seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you say you were expecting guests earlier? Don't tell me I'm the only one who came. Oh, I never explained, did I? Tonight's my beloved Thomas' birthday. Every year we have a special little dinner together. I tidy up the house like he prefers and make his favorite meal, an old-fashioned stew. Oh, that sounds really nice. When's he coming? Oh, well, he's not exactly. Thomas was my husband, but he's not with us anymore. Oh, I'm so sorry. There's nothing to be sorry about, Faye. We had a wonderful life together and he's still with me every day in my heart. I'm glad you're here though. Sometimes today can make me a little emotional. It'll be nice having someone else to talk to for a change. Looks like a giant salad. Salad? Hush, it's good for your digestion. You'll get your stew afterwards. Appetizer. I'm so glad you decided to join me. It's nice to have young company for a change. Oh, it's no trouble at all. It's my pleasure. I appreciate the kindness, Faye. It can be kind of lonely living alone. Yeah, lonely living alone these days. Well, considering I'm eating out of a microwave most nights, this is a real treat. Didn't you cook for that boyfriend of yours very often? What was his name? dude, wasn't it? Oh, we'd eat out more often than not. We were both pretty busy, you know? I understand. Life can get pretty hectic nowadays. Life sure does move a lot faster than when I was your age. How long has it been since you last saw each other? I always remember he was so polite. We'd bump into each other nearly every morning as he was heading out the door for his morning jog. It's funny, the things you miss about a person can often be what you take for granted. The cruel parts that you never know what you're doing. The cruel parts that you never know you're doing it at the time, but such is life, I suppose. Yeah, I guess. I miss him a lot. I really do miss him quite a lot. It's been about a year since we last saw each other. I still don't feel the same. Believe me, I understand how you feel. When you're so close with someone, their absence can be hard to deal with. I won't lie to you. That sadness you feel now may never go away. You're luckier than I was, though. You still have an opportunity to mend the rift. Oh, I don't know about that. Life's changed a great deal for both of us since we parted ways. Dude's not even in the city anymore, I don't think. Seems he wanted to get as far away from me as possible. A decision like that can be made in an instant, though. Who's to say what it really means? For all you know, dude could be regretting leaving just as much as you do. I'm not so sure that's true. It ended rather rough. Things between us ended rather roughly. There's a reason we don't talk. A lot of feelings were hurt, probably past repair. Be that as it may, you're not a mind reader. Not a mind reader, Faye. A good relationship like the one you had doesn't die so easily. Actions can be amended and feelings can be healed. The only thing that truly divides people is time apart. You can't be so sure you know what's going on in someone else's heart unless you ask them yourself. I suppose you're right about the time apart dividing us. I'm not even sure if he's the same person anymore, to be honest. When I look at how much I've changed in the last year, I can't imagine dude stayed the same. Oh, you've changed less than you think, Faye. Call me a nosy neighbor, but I've watched you come and go in this building for a long while now. Tell me what you think is so different about you today versus a year ago. You want to know how I've changed since dude left? My work or my lifestyle? I guess the thing that's changed most is my work. I've made a lot of progress on my book. I mean, it's really starting to feel complete. Oh, I had no idea you were nearly done. Do you have a release date decided yet? Well, it's not quite that ready yet, I guess. There's still a bunch of it that needs revision, and I haven't really figured out the ending. Ah, I see. Not so different after all, then. No, I guess not. Being the same person you were a year ago doesn't have to be a bad thing unless you think it is. Don't forget, that's who dude fell in love with in the first place. Yeah, but it's also who he left. Main course. It might just be pixels in a game, but that actually looks kinda good. So, how are you enjoying the stew? It's really quite good. What's the meat in this? She said it was lamb. That's fresh lamb. I got it from the butcher this morning. Feel free to have as much as you want. I got used to making rather large pots of it. Every time I'd make it, my Thomas would eat at least 4 bowls just by himself. There were never any leftovers back in those days, I'm afraid. He sounds like quite the character. How'd you meet? Do you mind me asking how you and Thomas met? It's a funny story, actually. It happened the summer after I finished high school. He was working at a garage near my house, and my father hired him to fix our old jalopy. I wasn't working at the time, so when my father asked me to pick up the car for him, I had no choice. I didn't even have a license at the time, so I was terrified the whole day imagining myself getting it home. Well, that certainly sounds safe. How'd you get away with driving illegally like that? It was a different time back then. We didn't worry about little things like that. I was scared, but that wasn't going to stop me. I hated disappointing my father. So I showed up to the shop scared out of my wits, and there he was, covered in grease and sweat. A real man's man, if you know what I mean. Thomas could tell immediately I was clueless and must have asked me if I needed help a dozen times. I was stumbling over myself with how cute he was, so I just kept telling him I'd be fine. I wanted to get home as quickly as possible before I said or did something embarrassing. I was so distracted thinking about him that I crashed straight into a stop sign barely 20 feet away. Thomas, the sweetheart, charged right over to see if I was okay. There wasn't a scratch on me, but the car was in pretty rough shape. I was terrified I'd get in trouble with my father. He'd have been so mad to find out what happened. Thomas, sensing my dismay, offered to fix it for free and tell my father he needed more time with it to keep me from trouble. His only condition was that I'd agree to go have dinner with him that weekend. Wow. Smooth move there. Of course I said yes, and the rest is history. Love's funny like that, isn't it? Was it the accident that drew us together, or was it our attraction that caused the accident? I think it was the latter, and then the first one after that. Sometimes I think these things are just meant to happen, you know? It sounds like you two were made for each other. What was your life like? So what was your life with Thomas like? Well, it wasn't perfect, but they were by far the best years of my life. I'd trade all the ones I'd got left for just one more lazy summer afternoon with him. Aww. When we were young and everything was new to us, all we needed was our love. It didn't matter that we were poor or hungry. As long as we had each other, we were happier than pigs in mud. We had such grand dreams for our life. We planned to travel the world together, see exotic places as a pair. Bills, right? Eventually, though, the bills started piling up, and so Thomas started working longer hours to make ends meet. There were times when we'd have debt collectors knocking at our door, and I wasn't sure we'd make it. I thought myself foolish for being so idealistic in our youth. Reality hit us a lot harder than we expected. I resented him working so much, even though I knew it was necessary for us to survive. He would be frustrated with every mistake I made, fearing how far it'd set us back. The stress of it all would cause us to fight over the most ridiculous things as we scraped by. Still, our love was strong enough that our tension always faded once we vented. We'd always make up and vow to double down on our efforts to make our dreams together come true. We slogged away, hoping we'd have a few extra pennies to put away at the end of the month, but we never got far. As we got older, things got easier, but we were too tired and beat to do anything about it. So you just gave up on your dream like that? We were comfortable and happy together. Eventually, we realized that's all we really wanted. It didn't matter where we were or what we were doing, just so long as we were together. Besides, it's more than a little impractical just packing up your life to chase a silly ideal like that. Sometimes I regret it though, especially when I wonder where we might have been when they started enlisting. When I think about it, it's hard not getting angry at myself for not trying harder. But then, how were we to know? I'm sorry, it's a very painful subject for me. So, Thomas was drafted in the war? How did he die? Apologies if it's a touchy subject, but how did Thomas die? I don't really like talking about it, but it's a fair question all things considered. It just makes me very sad to talk about it. I'd really rather not. I can only imagine how painful those memories are. Well, she said she'd rather not, so let's not bring it up. Talking helps. I know it might be hard, but talking about this stuff helps sometimes. Well, I suppose since you talked about your problems, it's fair I talk about mine. I guess things started looking up for us the year before we were even concerned with the war. We saw the news broadcasts and heard stories from friends about the troubles, but we never thought we'd be involved at all. It was all happening half a world away. We weren't in danger, and so we never paid it any mind. The whole affair was someone else's problem, and then the letter came. Devastation. I did my best to let go of the fear of losing him, assured myself that as a mechanic he'd never see combat. In his letters home, he always joked that it was more likely he'd die from boredom than from bullets. I can still remember the faint smell of gasoline that had soaked its way into the paper, his awful spelling. Almost every day there'd be a new one for me to read. He must have spent as much time holding a pen as he did a wrench. Like a lot of the wives in town, I blamed the post office at first when the mail stopped showing up. Then days turned into weeks, and we all knew something terrible had happened. By the time the news officially reached our neighborhood of the bombing, we were already grieving. Oh, that's so sad. I was told he died a hero, but that he died serving a valiant cause, but I know how he really felt. You may think of soldiers as brave and patriotic souls, but he wasn't a soldier, he was just a mechanic. He was just a mechanic who wanted nothing more than to travel the world with the woman he loved. I never fell in love again after losing him. I don't think I could have, even if I wanted to. When you lose someone that really means something to you, it chips away that part of your heart forever. I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say. You don't need to say anything, Faye. What you do need is to understand. Life doesn't connect us with the perfect person more than once in a life. I know this. Once you know who they are, don't waste your time with them fretting over pretty things. If you truly love them, do anything and everything to keep them by your side or be prepared to lose them forever. There are no do-overs in this life. Once they're gone for good. Yeah, I can see what you mean. Dessert. I need water. I just love ice cream, don't you? Wow, that looks good. Although it kind of sort of looks a little like a salad of very, very colorful things. You don't hear me complaining. I've had a really nice time this evening. I'm very happy you decided to come by. Oh, it's no trouble at all. I'm glad I came too. Still, I want to thank you for spending your time with me tonight, so I have something for you. What in the world is that? A board? What's this? These were my husband's baseball cards. He used to collect them when he was a boy. Some of them are quite old. They're probably worth quite a bit of money. I want you to have one of them as a token of my appreciation. You can keep it as a memento, or I'm sure someone will be happy to pay you for it. You can't be serious, can you? Please, I know how much you could use the money right now, and they're not doing me any good. They just sit in the box. I can't even bring myself to look at them anymore. I won't take no as an answer from you, so don't even make a fuss about it. I just don't trust myself not to get all weepy if I see which one you're taking, so I want you to pick by the time I return from the washroom. Just close up the box when you're done, and we won't say another word about it. Understand? Yeah, I understand. Alright then, I'll be back in a moment. Wow, these cards really are ancient. I bet they'd be worth a small fortune to the right collector. I couldn't do that to Mrs. Terwilliger though, could I? She did say take one, so I'll take one. Or... she said she wouldn't take no for an answer. I'll just take the one. You took a baseball card. Well, she did invite me to take one. It'd be rude not to, I suppose. I hope I made the right decision. Kinda would have preferred to take none, but the way she said it. Thanks again for having me over, Mrs. Terwilliger. You're more than welcome. You're such a good kid. Here, take this with you, some leftovers from the dinner to eat later. You received leftover stew. A young person like you needs to eat. Well, it won't pay my bills, but it's better than eating junk food. Thank you very much. You take care of yourself and have a good night. It's getting late, so I'm off to bed. Alright then, good night. And it's nighttime. It's getting pretty late and I'm beat. I should count up my pennies and see if I can get my rent paid. Between the $93 I've got in my wallet and the $0 stored in my bank. $93? That's not enough to get me back in my bed. Maybe I can scrounge together a few more bucks, but it looks like I'll be sleeping under the stars tonight. I better go and find a comfy street mattress. that club is still open. Highly doubt it, but... What's that? Oh. Ice cream. Looks like it's closed for the night. Oh, I guess I am kind of screwed then. He is creepy looking. Hey, there's a gas leak, so I can't let you pass. Should be cleared up in a day or so. Okay, where am I supposed to sleep in the meantime then? Who are you? If you don't back off, I'm gonna clock you. Oh, okay. What about this guy? Hey there, pretty lady. Got a second to invest in a sandwich? I'm trying to focus on a sandwich. I haven't eaten in at least 4 days. Here you go, pal. A fresh sandwich on the house. Hey, thanks a lot. If in order to exchange perspectives, one must be oblivious to their previous one, how can you be sure it hasn't happened to you already? What? Interesting. What is this? Apartments. And I'm not gonna break into one of those. Whee! Is this my bed? It's kind of dangerous and unsanitary. Should I sleep here tonight? Well, hopefully I won't die in my sleep. Well, this video is getting a little bit long, going at almost 22 minutes now. So, next time on Always Sometimes Monsters, we're gonna explore what the heck is up with this room. And I guess I'll see you guys next time.